You're doing everything they told you to. Go to therapy, breathe, stay positive, work out, do affirmations, be kind, grieve, feel your feelings. But somehow you feel even further from yourself. And your emotions, like no matter how hard you try to manage them, are still this huge storm inside. And there is real pain, and it's coming out sometimes really strong. This is what happens when you've had trauma growing up. And sometimes it ends up pushing people away. Trying to have the right feelings, the happy, positive, under control, appropriate feelings, can totally miss the real reasons your emotions feel so wild, so hard to manage. And maybe it's not more self-improvement you need, or not more control. Maybe what you need first is to re-regulate your nervous system. Because when you're in a state of regulation, emotional experience stops being storm-like. It becomes something steady, honest, and easy to live with. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed and shut down and angry, tearful, anxious, or out of control, that doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you lack insight. It doesn't mean you're bad at emotions. It could mean you're dysregulated. And when you're dysregulated, what you feel isn't always accurate. It's real, but it's distorted. And trying to control or analyze it in that moment often makes it worse, actually. That's been my experience. The first step isn't to think better thoughts or handle your feelings. The first step is to get back into a regulated state. And in this video, I'm going to show you why trying to manage your emotions through rules or mindset techniques, even talking about what you're feeling, or trying to get understanding and validation, and those are nice, but they rarely work, and they can even backfire when you're dysregulated. And I'm going to show you the deeper cause behind those emotional outbursts or shutdowns and what to do in real time to stop the spiral before it does damage. Because when you address dysregulation first, emotional clarity follows naturally. You don't have to force it. You don't have to pretend to feel differently. You just have to prioritize dealing with what is happening in your nervous system. And I wish someone had told me this when I was a teenager, but I had to learn it myself. When I ever got close to anyone, mostly in romantic relationships, but also family members and friends and coworkers, all kinds of relationships, there would be times when something they did or said triggered me. And when I say trigger, I'm talking about something that sets off an involuntary response in my nervous system that results in dysregulation in there. My heart starts pounding, my emotions surge, and then I might space out or get numb or feel sick or get a big migraine. It happens a lot less now because I've learned how to re-regulate on the spot. That's what I'm all about. But before I knew how to do that, I believed the intensity I felt when something triggered me was the truth. It does feel real when it's happening, but then the things I would believe and say were too harsh, too strong. I didn't have perspective. I was too disconnected from myself to sense how my words would impact the other person. And I was too upset to pause and think and try to figure things out. Thinking and seeing clearly are the fruits of regulation and not the other way around. So until I learned how to re-regulate, I was at the mercy of these old trauma-driven reactions coming out of my nervous system. And I damaged a lot of relationships. And once you understand how this works and how you can change it, your whole life self-corrects and everything can change for the better. When you're dysregulated, your emotions will often stop matching the moment. You might feel panicked over something small or numb in a situation where you should feel something. You might cry or snap or withdraw, and afterward, you don't understand why. That's not you being dramatic or cold. That's your system reacting from a survival state. Your emotional center is firing, but your reasoning is dimmed. Emotions are over here, reasoning is less active. And that's what dysregulation does. It disconnects you from accurate perception. So your emotions get out of proportion and your behavior follows. And this isn't an issue of willpower. It's the way the brain reacts to stress in people who have lived with a lot of trauma, especially if it happened in childhood. When you're regulated, your emotions shift and become right-sized. They feel honest, but not overwhelming. They rise, they fall, they tell you what matters, and they're balanced with your ability to reason, right? That's the thing I told you. Left front cortex, reasoning, right front cortex, feeling. And in people who are traumatized as kids, brain scans will show that under stress, activity goes down in the reasoning. It goes up in the emotions. That's what it feels like, right? Now, you don't have to suppress what's real in you, but you also don't have to get swept away. You can see the situation clearly. You can choose how to respond. Sounds good, right? You can pause when you need to pause. You can speak up when it's necessary. That balance between emotion and reason is what allows you to stay connected, even when something's hard. When emotional dysregulation hits, you need to take quick action, but it won't help to jump straight to trying to fix your emotions. The first thing to do is get re-regulated. So here are some things you can do in the moment. Notice what's happening. You might feel your heart pounding, your thoughts racing, your feelings flaring up. You can say to yourself, I'm having an emotional reaction. Now that alone helps bring awareness. Online. You can slow down. If you're in a conversation, step back. Say, can we take a break? Or I need a moment to collect myself. That pause can stop a lot of harm before it happens. You can dial down intensity, if you need to, by picturing a little knob on your belly, like the knob on a stove that turns the flame up and down. And then, picture it like right below your belly button and ask yourself, where's the knob turned right now? If you're at a 9, you can mentally turn it down to a 3. You're not stuffing the feeling, you're right-sizing it. If you're angry, don't text, don't post, don't confront. Wait, then write. The best form of writing I've ever found is my daily practice technique, and I'll put a link to it in the description section if you're ready to learn that and try it. I think about 1 million people have. It's very exciting. It's free. It's a way of naming those fearful and resentful thoughts and feelings that are pressing out when things get intense so that you can release them and just feel emotional relief, a little pressure off. That's not avoidance. That's clearing the static so that you don't explode. You can move your body. You can go outside. You could take a shower. You can breathe cold air or splash water on your face. These small physical resets can break the trance when you're dysregulated. And if you need to talk, choose someone calm who isn't part of the conflict. Just keep it simple. Don't retell the whole drama. Just say what's happening and get grounded. And these aren't techniques to suppress your feelings. They're tools to help you come back to yourself. Because yes, sometimes we get dissociated, we're so dysregulated. They help you get clarity on the situation. They help you act wisely. If you want a written list of these emergency measures to re-regulate, I'll give you a free download that you can access at the very top of the description section below. You can keep it with you and catch yourself when you start getting dysregulated. And in less than 15 minutes, you can start feeling better again. And this is why I teach the daily practice, because when you write and meditate every day with those practices, you're clearing out the buildup that leads to dysregulation. So I'm giving you sort of a long-term process for helping yourself and an emergency measure set that you can do in the moment. The reason why this is so helpful, when you're writing, you're not analyzing yourself. You're not reliving the past. Not necessarily. We don't focus on that. You end up writing whatever is top of mind for you. You'll get the instructions if you take the course, or you can also learn it in my book, Re-Regulated. It's taught in great detail there. So you're not analyzing, you're not reliving the past. You're letting your mind and emotions release all the noise, and then resting in a simple meditation during which you'll usually find the intensity comes back and settles into something gentler and more true. And it brings you back to reality in a good way. You stop overreacting. You stop losing your ability to express yourself. You stop being driven by what you remember and instead become alert and open to what's happening in the moment. So if trying to manage your emotions has been making you feel worse, you're not alone. Most of us were taught to control ourselves by trying to change our mindset and our actions, when what we really needed first was to re-regulate, to get out of the whole system overwhelm that we were feeling. People who aren't traumatized don't always get it. All that talking about trauma and reframing your thoughts, it works for them, I think, but a lot of us can't do that until we're regulated. And from there, anything is possible. Dysregulation isn't a flaw in your personality. It's a nervous system state that comes and goes. And if you know how to recognize it and how to shift it, you stop getting trapped in the storm. It restores choice. You see what's real. You feel what's appropriate for the setting. You say what needs to be said. You do what needs to be done. But it's usually a lot less than you thought when your head was full of worries and anxiety and hurts that were bouncing around. The action that's needed becomes clearer, and all that mental and emotional clutter just passes. Now, if this speaks to you, I encourage you to check out a short course I offer called Dysregulation Bootcamp, and I'll put that in the description section too. And you may not know this, a lot of people don't, but on YouTube, every video has a big section where there can be lots of things that the creator puts there, the creator being the content creator, not God. In my description section, I've got a whole bunch of links for you, and I encourage you to just go in there and see what's available. I try to match the very top ones to what's in the video, but it's all there. You can find it if you open it. When you get re-regulated, it puts you on a new footing. You don't have to collapse. You don't have to explode. You don't have to say things you'll totally regret tomorrow. You're steady, clear, and calm. And this changes everything. This doesn't happen by accident. It takes work. It takes daily action. But over time, that storm you've been living with, it quiets down. And what are the beautiful qualities in you that have been suppressed underneath dysregulation all your life? Now is when you get to find out. Now is when the best part of you can finally come through. If you like this video, I've got one I think you'll really love. It's right here, and I will see you very soon. And it's hard to perceive accurately what's going on in those moments. Like, what just happened? What's the actual problem? Is it me? Is it the other person? What am I supposed to say?